Down out. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Elks Call, your home for Edmonton Elks fan talk. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine.
Coming to you live on Shotgun Sports Network with the replay airing exclusively on Edmonton Sports Talk. Kathy, the Elks are 6-3. Are we surprised that the Edmonton Elks mucked it up last week?
I don't know if I would say surprised, but I'm surprised that they mucked it up that much. I think it's just the extent of it that is surprising, especially with how they've been doing. But we're going to talk about that in a little bit. For now, let's just say that it's disappointing. Would
you say that AC/DC on the Sunday was much better?
Yes, well, of course. What do you mean? One ended in disappointment, the other one did not.
Exactly.
With a hurting back that I couldn't complain about, because I'm not going to do that when you have 70-year-olds just rocking out in the stage. So.
Yeah, I mean, Angus Young and company put you to shame on the injuries, but very fun episode coming up on the Elks Call. We're very thankful to have you here with us tonight on this episode. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and favorite buttons, as that is how you show some love around here. All right, let's go through the schedule. For today, we are going to open up with The More You Didn't Know, where we chat with our guest about a variety of topics, and I think a couple stories today. After that, we do have Kathy's Herd Report, where we will give you the latest game recap, news, transactions, injuries, all of that good stuff. And of course, a game preview as well for this Argonauts game this weekend. After that, we do have What's Your Fantasy, an Edmonton Sports Update. And then we're going to play Green or Gold, our take on Hot or Not, always a fun one. And then finally, we are going to cap this show with the Fan Forum. And that's where we talk about a variety of topics in that one as well. So it's going to be a fun episode. But let's get this show rolling with The More You Didn't Know, where we chat with our guest. The More You Didn't Know is brought to you by RoyalRetros.com. If you like throwbacks, you're going to love Royal Retros. We got the Wilkinson right behind us back here. They got great gear. Obviously, we love the 5P jersey. So head on over to RoyalRetros.com. But without further ado, please welcome to the show mastermind behind Operation Occupy McMahon and occasional 50-50 guy. It is Matt, a.k.a. Section O.
What is going on? Put that camera on me, because I have got 11 years of pent-up energy, and I brought a special guest with us. It is the former Prime Minister, Stephen Harper. I don't care what you have about political affiliations. Anytime you get to meet the Prime Minister, here he is. So I don't think there's been a podcast ever in Edmonton that's had a Prime Minister on the show before. And if you read my bio on Instagram, I am the unofficial Prime Minister of Canada. So here we are. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. We got 30 minutes of airtime to fill up. Let's do it. We got no time to waste. Crack a beer, pack a lip, rip a dip. Let's do it. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Hell of an intro. Very stoked to have you on the show today, Section O. Were you at AC/DC this past weekend?
No, I have missed every single AC/DC show that there was. I remember Thunderstruck in the lightning storm in 2009. I was sitting at BP's on Argyle Road with my buddy Jason going, oh man, these guys are going to get smoked. And apparently it's one of the greatest concerts everybody's ever been to in Edmonton. I missed the one in October. When was it? 2016, 2017. And then actually the one I was sitting on my couch and I was looking at tickets on StubHub going, man, these guys are going to die soon. I got to go. And then I took a substitution for a softball game instead. But cameraman Dale was there and he was front row in the pit and he said it was awesome. So I heard it was a good time. It sounded like you guys had a great time there.
It was amazing. Wish you could have been there, but like you said, right? Things happen, and unfortunately, you can't. Mm-hmm. Now, excited to have you on the show today for our viewers and our viewers that are watching live. Comments and questions into the chat. We do have here Yag, Westside J, Oi, Mr. Prime Minister Andy, and then Chris Edgar. All that and no pyro.
Yeah, who built this budget here? There should be fireworks, strobe lights, smoke machines, somebody coming over through this door right over here to hit me over the head with a steel chair. What's happening here? Kind of low budget, no pyro podcast show did I find myself on right now? I kid. This is a great time.
We do have some sound effects here and there.
Need a little Kool-Aid man in the background. I think that would be way better, right?
Yeah.
Pierre does also say knows. Let's go. All right. Okay, we do have to get to know you here before we get into the good and juicy. Where the heck did your sports fandom come from?
So basically, I grew up in a single mother household, and we were too poor to be Oiler fans at the time.
Still nowadays.
Right. And so I also have immigrant grandparents, right? So they didn't know a lick of thing about football, but my uncle used to watch the Eskimos all the time. So like one of my first ever like absolute memories is we were over at my grandparents for whatever the 37th time that week, and there was a football game on, and me and my cousin were in the other room playing with, I don't know, toy soldiers at the time, and the parents are drinking wine, yelling and screaming at the TV, and we're kind of getting half interested. Okay, whatever. Fast forward, 96 Grey Cup in the snow. I'm watching it on TV back, I don't know how old I was, 9 or 10. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome. 97 Grey Cup rolls around in Edmonton. I'm like, oh, all the kids are talking about it in school. And then the very first football game I ever went to, this is a true story. I think it was 98 or 99. I can't remember. I got surprised with tickets from one of my dad's friends. And it's the time that Gizmo broke the all-time, is it all-purpose yards or punt yards, whatever it was, 20,000 in the season. And they had a rolling countdown on the scoreboard, basically. And I remember he was down to 1 yard left and the whole stadium like blew up. And then, of course, I can't remember who was playing. They punt and he gets it and they stopped the game. That was my very first game I ever went to live. And then basically from there just became hooked and started watching it on TV. And then I remember the 2002 Grey Cup rolled around and I begged my mom for season tickets, because at the time pretty much you had to have season tickets. There's a no shot in hell you're getting a Grey Cup ticket, right? And that was 2002, and basically haven't looked back since. This will be my 24th year in a row. So one more year, I get my name on the plaque, and then done. No, I'm kidding.
That's fair. But we obviously know you as Section O. So When did you start repping Section O? What can you tell us about that?
So again, going back, like you see all these pre-game Grey Cup vignettes that they do, and there was this group out of Hamilton, and they were called the Box J Boys, and they dressed stupid. They wear kilts and Box J Boy shirts and whatever, and me, Jay, my brother, and a bunch of other people basically been sitting in the same seats for forever. It's the same people every single game, and of course, you know, as charismatic and dynamic as I can be sometimes, I'm sitting there going, why don't we make something out of this? You know, like, let's have fun doing this. We're already yelling and screaming and ripping beers at the game anyway. Let's just do something. This is back when Twitter was in its infancy. So we basically just started a Twitter account and went and tried to find like yellow shorts and all that stuff to make it match, because I like dressing stupid, because who doesn't? Pretty much from there, just never looked back. And nor did I think, when did I make that account? It was like 2011 or 2010. Did I think, what are we at now? 16 years later, 15 years later, I still haven't grown up yet.
Who does? Whoever. So I guess some people grow up, but folks like us.
Well, if you think about it from there, like it was only ever Box J Boys in Hamilton, and then like whatever, we came along. Then in the mid 2010s, it opened up everything. You for a while there, you had Lumber Joes out of Ottawa. You had what were they in Calgary? I forget their name, but basically all these little fan groups just opened up all across the league, and it was just like, okay, this is catching on. Like, this is something that people want to have an identity to. This is something that people enjoy doing with their friends, and that cohesion. So why not go with it? Just I'm 39 years old and I still think I'm 19 years old and growing up as a trap. So screw you all. I'm still doing it.
Yeah, but also game day, right? Don't
yeah.
It feels different on game day, and game day kind of brings that out of you, no matter how serious you are. Maybe sometimes in the week, at points in the week or whatever. Game day seems to bring that out.
I used to work for Brinks. Okay, so on basically any given day, I could have been shot and killed and pretty much game over. And you had to have your game face on. So part of that too was you get that 1 3-hour escape where basically you get to just absolutely do the complete 180 of what you are on your day-to-day and pretty much be a kid, and come Monday morning you're back to being this super serious G.I. Joe, I'm gonna guard the ATM guy, and it's just like
That's true.
which nobody at my new work knows who I am, and that is a great thing. I've so far kept that thing on the down low, but I'm assuming after this thing's gonna blow up in my face.
I mean, hopefully, but also hopefully not. That could be a double-edged sword there, right?
Not necessarily a bad thing. We could use some more fans, really. And I mean, who's going to disagree? I completely agree. Checking out for 3 hours, who doesn't like that, right?
See?
What would you
and
say?
then just
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, and pretty much, yeah, like sometimes taking it overboard, it lost me a 4-year relationship, but whatever. She didn't like the Eskimos. That's her loss. I don't care. Here I am.
Find
Still
yourself
alive
a
and
chick.
kicking. Yeah, exactly.
Find
Save
yourself a
myself
chick
a walking red flag.
Well, no, get yourself a chick that loves the Eskimos, or get yourself
Well, also
that likes the Elks, the Eskimos.
a girl that's batshit crazy enough to frickin' get with this guy. I almost dropped the F word. I got a swear jar right here, actually, as a matter of fact.
Oh yeah, we gotta do a little sound so that we can bleep it on our end. But on that note, what would you say are some of your best memories from Section 02?
Well, I mean, come on, like whoever gets to meet the Prime Minister, really? I mean, there's that. Actually, funny story about that one is he was just drinking a beer, and the only people around him were just a bunch of RCMP and guys in suits, and they never even searched us for weapons. They're just like, he's over there. You want a picture of him? We're like, okay. So let's walk up. The only thing they made us do was put our beer down on a table, and I think Jay mouthed them off from being from Calgary right before that photo, actually. But basically, I would have. There's that. Like, you get to meet all sorts of cool people. I've been to 17 Grey Cups, coming up on 18 this year, and the people you meet, you don't see them for 361 other days of the year, and then pretty much your friends and neighbors for the 4 days after that. I can't find myself for any excuse to travel around Canada. I've been to all these different cities. We went to Moncton in 2010 when they did Touchdown Atlantic. Why else would I go to Moncton? Why else would I go to Kelowna, which is a story coming up in itself? Winnipeg, Calgary, God knows, a whole bunch of times. As much as I dunk on the Riders, I love a Saturday night game in Regina if the Elks are playing down there. I mean, Vancouver on the coast, it's beautiful. I got to get back to Montreal because I've only ever been there once for a game and once for work, but I definitely, you get to travel around. Those are some of the core memories that are going to stick with me for a while. And I think with everybody else in the league, like I met you two, and here I am 2.5 years later, sitting on your podcast here trying not to swear.
Doing it for the kids, doing it for EST, doing it for everybody that can apparently handle swears, but
Exactly.
also because the show unfortunately just doesn't support it. But that's what's funny, right? It's like, even just talking to you now, it's hard. Even I've talked to you, I'm pretty sure, before the name change for the Elks as well. So it's kind of funny. Like it's one of those things with fans, right? And going through the years, you kind of pick up where you left off every year on game day, on that first game day, right? It's kind of like talking about the Grey Cup. And I mean, I know you've been to quite a few. How many Grey Cups have you been to?
16 in a row.
16 in a row, 17 total.
But I will say this to anybody listening. This is about as serious as I'm going to get. It doesn't matter how many Grey Cups you go to. It doesn't matter how many games you go to. I hate the word superfan. I hate it. I hate labeling something as a hierarchy. It just means I got more money than you. Okay, that I get to go to all these things. whoop-de-doo. But that doesn't make me any bigger of a fan than anybody else. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that can't even afford to go to Eskimo game or Elks games that are just as big as a fan on TV. So I will say that. The one thing is I hate the term super fan, and just because I go to all these things does not make me any bigger, more passionate of a fan than the next person. So I want everybody to take one thing away from this, is that if you love football, hockey, curling, whatever it is, and on this thing, if you like the Elks, Eskimos, CFL, and you're passionate about it, if anybody tells you you don't do this or you don't do that, so you can't be a fan, or you don't have the playbook memorized, or you don't have the stat book memorized, wrong answer. You are just as big a fan as me, just as big a fan as you, and just as big a fan as the old lady down the road watching the game in her nursing home. Now let's get back to not being serious.
I like it.
I like that. That's real material right there.
Real and time.
Yeah. No, man, and I mean you're right. I like the term hardcore, sure, right? Maybe you read the books and everything else, but I do agree with the whole label thing, and that's kind of what we do at the Elks Herd. It's like try to just be a part of the community, right? Sure, like you said on TV, the X's and O's seem to, make their way onto the screens quite often, but it's just one of those things where it's a community. It's not about anybody being better than anybody else. That's the last thing that it is. It's let's get as many people in the Church of Commonwealth cheering on the Elks with the choir in the stands, and then we need more people in the choir. So that's kind of the religion I mostly follow is Church of Commonwealth. But yeah, I mean, you
can be the Pope of that. I'll elect you Pope of that religion.
Pope of Section X. We could. There you go. I like it. Or Pope of Commonwealth, I guess it would have to be. Okay, I do got to ask though: is it better going to the Grey Cup when the Double E are in the Grey Cup, or is it easier when they're out of the Grey Cup?
I have been to 2 Grey Cups with the Elks Eskimos in it. 2002, I was 14 years old. Okay, so that doesn't count. 2015 is the only other time I've ever been at the Grey Cup when they were in it. Let me tell you, it is a completely different experience when your team is in it. So you had Montreal in there for the longest time. You had Calgary in there for the longest time. The 2015 Grey Cup, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that happened on the back end, which is a story for another. There's a different aura farming that's happening, and I can't explain it, but basically you are on cloud 9 for 4 days straight, and there is nothing anybody can do to take that experience away from you. It sucks that we've only ever been in it once since I've been over 18, which means I can drink at these Grey Cups. I've been at the 2002, I'm 14, but we won't talk about that. But if you go to the Grey, and travel Grey Cups are way better than home Grey Cups, by the way. I will say that. If your team is in it and in a travel Grey Cup, 10 times the experience.
Interesting. So you're not stressed?
No, because you're drunk for 4 days straight, and basically when it comes down to game time, you're like, okay, now it's time to turn it on. No, am I stressed in 2015 with the team being in it? No, but I did see half the team at the Spirit of Edmonton room Saturday night, and I remember Jay looking me dead ass in the eye going, if they lose tomorrow, I am never erasing this memory from my brain, and I will call every single one of them out for being at the Spirit of Edmonton room Saturday night before the Grey Cup. I remember that specifically. I went into the washroom. Tony Washington came out of the washroom, was like, what? Odell Willis is in there, a couple other guys. It's just like, oh, okay.
I don't think we see that. Well, we will. I don't know. We will see. Well, last year was my first Grey Cup experience. So.
Or BC in 2024.
Oh, that wasn't last year. Or yeah, I guess it wasn't last year. Man, time flies. But that was BC. That was my first experience. So I still have lots of Grey Cups to go, and hopefully one of those will be, another experience like that. But let's talk.
Why do people in the comments section keep asking me what job I do? There's like 4 people have asked what job I do.
I know. I like this. I see this in the comments.
Let's bring that up now that you brought it up. Let's talk about that.
Per my LinkedIn, you'll find it somewhere on the internet if you want to know what I do. Do your own research. West Side J.
Do people even know your name? That's the thing.
Uh,
You're not going to find Section O in LinkedIn. That's
that's hilarious. I like that in the comments. Okay. Kathy, do you want to take us away on the next?
Yeah, let's talk about what we came here to talk about. Labor Day Classic, Operation Occupy McMahon. What is it? How long has it been going? Tell us all about it.
This thing has started because I used to go to Labor Day, and there was a big giant fight in the stands right in front of me. It was me, my mom, my brother. And I'm going, oh my God. And then, of course, when you grow up to be a little bit older and younger and stupider, you get a little mouthy. I wasn't in this fight. And I'm going, nobody's going to come after 100 guys sitting together. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go and basically put a bunch of ticket specials together. And actually, ironically enough, the Stampeders called me up one day and they're like, hey, we've been watching your Ticketmaster history. Like, would you like to do group sales? I'm like, hey, this is awesome. Why not? So we started setting that thing up. And basically, I start this program in about springtime. I talk to my connection at the stamps office, secure price, and I usually sell it around Canada Day or my birthday. So for this year, they're $41. And I used to run a bus. I don't do it anymore for various obvious reasons. But I do game ticket only. So if you can drive yourself down there, you're going to get $41 seats at McMahon Stadium. And if you go on Ticketmaster, they're in upper section O. Not ironically enough, we used to be in section B, but the security guard story is why we don't sit in section B no more.
Oh, well, we need the story.
Yeah, well, I'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
I might get you kicked off YouTube with it. But section O, row 48 and up. And then if we sell more, we untarp basically that section. So if you got $41, you can find my flyer on Instagram. It's on a couple of Facebook pages there. Shoot me a DM, shoot me an email. It's literally easy. It's an e-transfer. I keep all the paper copies. I create a subfolder, put it in my thing there, and then basically Saturday of Labor Day, I whip you a digital ticket into your Ticketmaster account because I used to do will call, and then that backfired on me. So you learn some lessons along the way, and come join the party. The most tickets I ever sold was 2016. I had 317 seats sold in McMahon Stadium, which is probably, they still haven't forgotten about that, which is why I get such a good price. There's $73 tickets on Ticketmaster. I'll sell it to you for $41. No joke, no baloney. Almost quarter in the swear jar. No baloney. Everything's got a paper trail to it. There's no scam, nothing. I've been doing this for 22 years. I'm the face of the guy of the promo on the internet. Nobody's getting ripped off here. This is the best thing ever, and it gets loud. I'm telling you right now. You don't want to be anywhere else but Calgary on Labor Day Monday. This will be my 23rd Labor Day.
Absolutely unreal. 23rd Labor Day, and of course, it's Operation Occupy McMahon. Get at Matt for $41 is a great deal, and I think the other thing that's great about this is obviously you're sitting with other Edmonton Elks fans that are driving down for the game, or Elks fans in Calgary. That's pretty sweet.
So if Sports Talk is listening to me, I know you dropped a promo right now. Hit me up. I'll do your game day tickets for you. I want nothing to do with a bus anymore. So Ashley Johnstone K7R, there's no bus from Section O. I will not, I just don't have the patience for a bus anymore, but I will supply your game ticket for $41. You will save yourself $30-something plus fees.
There you go. I mean, hell of a promo. That is for Operation Occupy McMahon. Great stuff. Love it. I know the story, so we can't talk about that one, but I know that it involved saying some rude things. There's
started it.
A lot more to it, but that involved some choice words down in Section B. So maybe not that one, but give us something good from the O-Zone. Like, there has to be something that's happened up there.
My list. So I went on Instagram and basically was like, hey, people, what story do you want to hear? And multiple people have asked about the Kelowna drunk tank story from a couple of weeks ago. So I'd be perved not to tell that story. So to clean this thing up a little bit, we were walking out of the football game in Kelowna, July 5th, and me and cameraman Dale had just come up from Las Vegas. We took our motorcycles down to Vegas, came back up. Now, contrary to popular belief, I used to have a problem with alcohol. I don't drink as much anymore. But they sold out of all non-beer drink by the first quarter. They sold out of everything else by the second quarter. So I'm already mad just trying to find something. It's 35 degrees out, and I'm walking around trying to find something to drink. The game wasn't going our way, whatever. So I come out of there just a little bit miffed. We lost, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm not a guy, we lost. But this random guy comes up to us, and he's like, hey, is it the Eskimos or the Elks? And Dale said something about, like, I don't know, I cheer for the team, whatever they're called. And then he just got mad. Like, he just got so upset. And then we were with my other buddy, Glenn, and Glenn's like, I don't know what you're mad at us for. Anyway, long story short, this guy just the more you try to rap, like, leave us alone, buddy. We just want to get in an Uber and go back downtown. He just starts getting more mad. Long story short, ended up being a big giant fight, which I won, by the way. I ended up getting put in handcuffs, so I hope my mother doesn't discover the internet and can hear this story. I ended up getting put in handcuffs and thrown in the Kelowna drunk tank for 4 hours, and even the jailer looked at me and he's just like, why are you here? And I'm like, I don't know, man. But then I said to him, I was just like, are you putting me in a cell with, like, somebody else? I'm thinking, like, Big Bubba's going to be in there, right? Yeah. And he looks at me, he's like, you are better off just being by yourself and just stay quiet and you'll be out of here in no time. And I'm like, yes, sir. No, sir. That's it. That's all. And basically they kicked me out of the jail at 11:30. Now, here's the thing. If you go on Google Maps, this is hilarious. So they give me all my stuff back, and of course I hadn't had a drink since like 2:00 in the afternoon. Where I call it the freedom door, where the freedom door opens up is right across the street from a Korean sake karaoke Korean bar, whatever. So I basically called cameraman Dale up. I was just like, Dale, they released me from the slammer. I served my time. I'm a free man. I'm going to go have a drink across the street sing some karaoke, and I'll meet you back at the hotel. That, my friends, is the Kelowna story. And I actually applied, so through the Freedom of Information Act, through the RCMP, I'm still waiting for my mugshot, and I'm going to post it when I get it. So don't think I haven't forgotten about this. It's a 60-day FOIP, and I've asked for the investigative records. They let me off without charges because it was a what do you call it, a even combative fight. So if the lead investigator is listening to this podcast, I've been a good boy ever since, and he started it, so I didn't do nothing. I was defending myself.
I love it. RCs, at least they did for you on this one. Otherwise, we'd be running around.
Oh, and the constable, shirts. The constable that arrested me was, she can arrest me any day of the week after that. Well, I enjoyed being put in handcuffs by her, as a matter of fact.
Mrs. Officer story, that is hilarious for probably not here, but I do have one last question because I did see a reference to it in the herd chat. Also, Rock and Ronnie in the herd chat. Go ye go. Classic from section herself. The Jim Jeffries interview. Can you give us the total rundown on the Jim Jeffries?
Oh my God. This is hilarious. How much time we got left? Because I can tell the Cold Notes version or the great version. Well, I'll mix the two. So I'm sitting on my couch one day, and I get this random Facebook messenger request. I don't know what her name was. Wants to chat with you. I'm like, scam, whatever. So I click it, and she goes, hey, I'm the producer, whatever it is, from the Jim Jeffries show. He'll be up in Edmonton, and he's heard about the Eskimos want to change to the Elks, or they want to change their name. Is this something you want to be interested in getting on? And I was just like, Jim Jeffries, the same Jim Jeffries that did the whole 13-minute gun control rant that blew him up to go, I'm a responsible guy. I'm like, absolutely, I want to get on this. So basically called up everybody I knew. I'm like, yo guys, you're never going to believe what Jim Jeffries wants to interview us. This is going to be awesome. So whatever, we go back and forth with the producer, and we set it up. Now, we set it up the way she wanted it done. It was filmed in the old, I think the bar is still up, but it's the underground on Jasper Ave next to the old CIBC. And she wanted us there at 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday. Well, except we played Toronto at home at 7:30 the night before. So we roll in there, we're all freaking hungover, and we start filming at 9:30, and Jim Jeffries walks in, and he's just as disheveled as we are. And then my buddy Mark, whips out this big giant bottle of Fireball, and we're all just like, shooters of Fireball with Jim Jeffries before we get on there. And basically going into this whole thing too, me and Jay were kind of looking at each other going like, how do they want to edit this? Are they going to make us look stupid? Are they going to, you know, be rational about this? So we actually had like practice sessions, be like, just sit on the fence the whole thing. Don't give them any sound bites. Don't let them make you look stupid, because this thing was going to go one of two ways. Either bleh or spectacularly bad. So basically they filmed it, and I'm okay. And then it ended up going to air about 9 months later or so, and this thing just took off, and I watched it. I'm like, wow, actually this guy came in with an open mind. Of course he was hilarious. He did, you know, his own little shtick, but the whole thing was he came in with an open mind and kind of sided with us. Now, there was one, I will say this, there was one time in there where he was making some jokes going back and forth, and it was kind of like, Jim, just stop for a sec. I need you to understand something. The residential school system in Canada was absolutely horrific. Okay, the Canadian government did some pretty horrible stuff. So I just want you to understand that, yeah, we can all laugh and joke around here, but like this is a very, very serious topic. And it kind of opened his eyes just a little bit. And I remember looking over to his cameraman, and his cameraman was just like, oh, okay. And so we kind of just had that like 30-second come to Jesus moment in there, and then boom, back right off the rails. But I also, follow up to this story is I was in Rome last year, and I was in some random church touring around, and I ended up talking to a priest who was part of the papal delegation that came to Edmonton, and he, of course, he didn't know what was going on. He's just part of the crew that goes there, and was talking, oh, you're from Edmonton because you saw a Canada flag, da, da. So I told him. And I told him basically the same thing I told Jim Jeffries. It's like, if there's ever the darkest moment in Canadian history, it was this. And we can laugh and make somewhat jokes about it all we want in a clear and open mind, but we do have to 100% understand that we're talking about a very serious subject. So Jim, how are you going to edit this thing? Because the last thing I want is to come across to 42 million people that I'm some absolute goof loser that just absolutely doesn't care about this subject at all. And unfortunately, I had just gotten a haircut a week and a half earlier and shaved my freaking head off and had no idea that this thing was going to come back and be like, why'd you shave your head when you're talking about anti-racism, you goof? And I'm just like, oh my God. So if I had to go back, I wouldn't shave my head when I did that, but it was just completely whatever. But probably, I still got the picture on my wall somewhere over here. It was probably the funnest 2.5 hours. And Jim Jeffries, like when he wasn't filming, was just a down-to-earth normal guy. And he had a show that like later in, I think it was at the Windspear Center. And he was just basically asking us like, what do I do in the afternoon? And I'm like, well, you got two options. You hang out downtown or go back to your hotel room. And he's just like, well, that sucks. I'm going to hang out here. I'm like, okay. Jim Jeffries, cool guy, awesome interview. I loved every minute of it. And he edited it in the right way, I felt. So,
It seemed like they portrayed you in a decent light. Catherine, have you seen this?
No, I have not. I'll have to.
You are definitely missing out on this one. I apologize, but I should have given you that link before we talked to Matt. But yeah, absolutely amazing. For our viewers, of course, and listeners, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Just search Jim Jeffries Eskimos and you will find it very quickly. But man, unfortunately, this is all the time we have for this, and we do not want to take any more of your time. Where can our viewers and listeners find you online?
You can find me online. I'm only on Instagram now because I got booted off Twitter twice. And if you want to hear that story, shoot me DM. You find me on the old IG, what all the cool kids are doing, section _, because apparently somebody somewhere else has section _O, section line O. Like who even thinks of that name? So I had to do a _, but you can find me on there. I'm sure you'll get linked up somewhere. Basically, it's become a mix mash of Edmonton Elks, Eskimos. I volunteer with the Sherwood Park Crusaders, Go Crew. There's a lot of stuff going on there, and pretty much just stuff from my everyday normal life. So if that's just about it. So if you guys are kicking me off now, I just want to say good night, everybody. This has been a fun experience. Len, I know you're watching. Spruce Grove Saints are nothing this year, by the way. And for my buddy Brad, Cindy Luhu, I love you. So let's rock and roll. We'll see you all at McMahon. We'll see you Saturday at the 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock against the Argos. What's this? I ain't waking up out of bed 1 o'clock. Yeah, of course I am. We'll be there. You guys have a great night. This was spectacular. I got 11 years of stuff to get off my chest. This was great. And if you ever want to do another episode, we could probably fill 6 or 7 hours worth, because here I am loving to hear myself talk. Click that leave button right now, or I will never go.
Okay, well, we got to say that we're super thankful to have you on the episode tonight. Man, hell of a promo. Once again, that's Operation Occupy McMahon. We will have to have you back on. The Prime Minister as well, former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. Section O, yeah, we got to do this again, my man. Can't thank you enough. And we will see you Saturday in the tailgate, maybe around noon or whatever, but we will definitely see you.
Go Elks, go Esks, go Crew. Spruce Grove Saints or nothing, Len.
Peace out, brother. And that was Matt, aka Section O. Hell of a conversation. That was absolutely amazing. So funny, so good. Has a lot of stories. So we will definitely have to have him back on the show at a later date. But big shout out to the viewers, big shout out to the listeners, and a big shout out to Matt for joining us tonight. All right, Kathy, I guess got a quick Shotgun Sports news update. Well, kind of reoccurring news from last week, but just wanted to remind everybody that the Taste of Tailgate series is popping off this weekend. Matt had mentioned, obviously, the game this weekend at 1 p.m. The tailgate's going to open up at 11, and we will have a Taste of Taco contest going on, Taco Taste-Off is the exact verbiage there, but up to 10 competitors will be competing at stall 138, dropping off some tacos to the likes of people like yourself. Are you pumped?
I am. Yeah. I forgot how early it was. So now I'm just going to have to be mindful of not having a big breakfast to make sure that I can taste tacos.
Well, and what if people have tacos that are consisting of breakfast products? What if it's breakfast tacos?
I don't know how I feel about this. I'm excited. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to my tacos, but I'm excited to see what, you know what, and I do like them. I do like breakfast, anything. So if there is a person that decides to go that way, I'll be grateful, because I will probably skip breakfast that day.
Fair enough. There you go. So might see that now. This Taco Taste-Off is indeed brought to you by...
See, I just saw that comment by Pierre. Carnitas Oaxaca, baby. Now that gets my attention. Now that I would be excited to taste.
The Oaxaca, yes. Pierre knows what's up. Pierre has competed in the chili cook-off. So Pierre, let us know if you did register for this one. But this is brought to you by Casper Stickers and Vinyl, the Duke Brewing Company, Triple Creek Golf Club, Roker Barbecue, and of course the Edmonton Elks. There is some really sweet gear from all of the sponsors. So really cool. Jason and Andrea are organizing this. Big shout out to Jason and Andrea for doing this one. And it's going to be really exciting to see who wins all of these goodies. It's also going to be interesting to see who wins this game this weekend, Catherine. So let's talk about the last loss. Let's talk about this upcoming win in Kathy's Herd Report. Today's Herd Report is brought to you by Shots from the Hip. Oz and Jason have you covered on the latest from the CFL, the NFL, MLB, NHL, all of your favorite leagues. They are covering it over at Shots from the Hip, and of course movies and all sorts of stuff within that show. It's a really, really cool show. Really happy to have them on the network. And if you haven't checked it out already, you are missing out. All right, Kathy, let's talk about this game against the Alouettes.
Do we have to? I guess we have to. I don't want to, though. But, I mean, what a bad game. Let's just say it. It was a bad game. It was the worst game of their season. Didn't start well. Didn't end well. It was just all around not a good game, which was very disappointing, because although we I mean, we thought that they could win it, and there was a possibility that they could lose it. But as I mentioned, as I said at the beginning of the episode, I just wasn't expecting such bad loss, and that's the problem. And sure, there were some really good key moments. We had that Tyrell Ford interception it was a trick play pass at the Edmonton 8 that stopped Montreal from scoring very early in the game. That was fantastic play by Tyrell Ford.
But were you not worried that they were already going for trick plays that early in the game?
It was exciting, though. I mean, it's a sad reality that is coming from the opposite team, because even you said it. We don't do those. We don't do that.
Yeah, you like to see it.
Maybe this will bring a little bit of spark in the team's coaching to get a little bit more creative and figure out that, hey, yes, you can throw some trick plays here and there, and we would like to see them too, not coming from the opposite team. But in some ways, you could say that maybe because it was a trick play, perhaps it wasn't executed so well that it resulted in an interception, and maybe that's why the Elks are avoiding those. But at the same, it was exciting, even if it was on the opposite team. But
yeah,
regardless, Justin Rankin, he had some solid rushes during this quarter. Nothing that came to full completion, however. The defense, they definitely struggled against David Alexander's passes. Gave Montreal the opportunity to score a major first within a minute and a half left in the first quarter. So it was a 0-score quarter for the Elks. And of course, there was not much that the defense could do with Alexander's arm and the way that he was throwing. At least for the second quarter, it was a little bit better. Cody Fajardo, he did settle into a rhythm. He connected with Keon Julian Grant. He moved the offense downfield. Edmonton's first touchdown came on a sustained drive that reached the goal line after a Javon Leake run and a Montreal face mask penalty. So again, one of those that, could it be a little bit of luck thrown in there? Thanks to a penalty. And Fajardo then powered in on a quarterback sneak.
Like that. It's interesting, hey, that they're not using Cole Snyder for the short yardage duties anymore. I think that was very evident. It seemed like Cody Fajardo was holding onto that ball for, quarterback sneaks, second and one scenarios.
The one interesting thing, though, because I do remember you mentioning, I mentioned this during the game, and I was like, why is Cole Snyder not in? And you were like, well, there are certain quarterbacks that just do it all. Take Michael Riley, right? That he was one of those, everybody drank, that he was one of those that he could just do it all, and he wanted to, be the man to do that quarterback sneak and get it through. So maybe Cody Fajardo has something to prove to himself, and he didn't want to pass the ball, right? But something like that. Either way, it worked. But unfortunately, Montreal responded in kind, which was worrisome, really. We did get a little bit of hope when, for the second time in the game, Tyrell Ford intercepted Davis Alexander, this time returning the ball 30 yards to the Montreal 6-yard line. And really, that should have been a very straightforward play. It should have. And it just turned into a mess. First, with an incomplete pass from TJ Luther in the end zone, negated that touchdown completely. But thankfully, Fajardo was able to pass to Cephas on a 3rd and 6 and complete the touchdown.
So went for 3rd and 6 there, right? Deep in Montreal's end. We'll get back to that point.
Get back to that. But it's still, it drives me nuts that you're right there and you have to leave it to the 3rd down.
Yeah.
That's something that should, when you're right on the end zone, whatever in goal, you go for it, and you should get it within the first 2 downs, not leave it to the very last second.
Yeah.
And of course, as this game seemed to have gone, this was also followed by an unnecessary roughness penalty. Gave Montreal unnecessary yards on that kickoff. And you bet that they capitalized on that. After all of that, we get to the Elks' last drive of the half. Fajardo moves the ball to the Montreal 18-yard line on a 3rd and 1 with 27 seconds left on the clock. And instead of going for it, Killam makes the choice to go for a field goal instead.
The most debated play amongst Double E fans over the last 4 days, right? I mean, why would you go for it on the 3rd down earlier, but you're not going to go for it 3rd and 1, and you're going to elect to take points? Which, if you don't make it at this point in the game, you're still pinning Montreal in their zone and making it really hard for them with 27 seconds to come back and get points. Instead, you basically give them, 30 yards, right? 30 plus yards or whatever for them to move up into decent field position with 27 seconds or whatever it was. And of course, as we know, Davis Alexander was able to get the ball to his guys. The ball, obviously, Montreal got the ball up close enough for a field
yards.
I mean, it is a 56-yard bomb. Now, I mean, I think there was some yak yards in there as well, right? But yeah, he got it to Sneed. That's right, he did. But I mean, it in my opinion, it is a bit of a bonehead decision. I think that the Edmonton Elks, obviously, they do struggle in that scenario. But Cody Fajardo was choked because he thought that they actually had a little bit of momentum there.
Yeah, he was mad. He was mad that that was the call. I seriously, I didn't understand it. We all know that, 27 seconds is a lot of time when it comes to football.
Yeah, I mean, giving anybody 27 seconds, that's giving them too much time to potentially once again bring it back for at least a field goal, or you don't know what happens that could end up resulting in a touchdown.
Well, yeah, I mean, what would have happened if Sneed caught that and went for it?
Went to the house.
All right, and it could have happened. It was completely plausible. After seeing that throw, it could have happened. And the fact that Killam decided that the risk was greater by going on a 3rd and 1 and doing another quarterback sneak or bringing in Snyder and getting it done. Like, come on. It was... I did not agree.
I would have trusted the pass. I think, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I would have trusted the pass in that scenario coming from Cody Fajardo. Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyways.
Didn't agree with that. I definitely did not agree with that call. I think that also was, as you like to call it, the turning point of the game. I don't know if, it just created some sort of animosity in the locker room, if it just demoralized the players. I don't know what happened, but after that, we go into something that we're very familiar with and we thought that we were done with, which is the 3rd quarter.
Dun, dun, dun.
Awfulness. Absolutely no points. The game began to slip away. Elks opened the half, moving the ball reasonably well, with Fajardo finding Austin Mack and Justin Rankin. However, a holding penalty and Austin Mack fumbling after catch gave Montreal possession in Edmonton territory. Of course, the Alouettes are not going to waste any time. They definitely turned that turnover into points. And later in the quarter, another Edmonton drive crossed midfield before Fajardo was intercepted by Montreal. So, I mean, Edmonton, sure, they prevented one Montreal drive from becoming a touchdown and forced a field goal, but the damage was done.
Yeah.
Montreal outscored Edmonton 10-0 in the period, and they were stretching the lead to 34-17 heading to the 4th quarter.
And I'll say, I'm one of the biggest optimists of this team, but it didn't really look like they were even in the game for the remainder of the game. It didn't look like they were in it. It didn't really look like they were staying that competitive as compared to the Montreal Alouettes. And it did have that feeling of, yes, this is slipping away.
Yeah.
The game was slipping away from the Edmonton Elks. And I mean, quite frankly, I think that, Pierre does make a good comment here in the herd chat. Keep it coming, everybody. Unfortunate decision to kick the field goal totally swung the momentum and we never recovered. I suspect Killam might have learned something there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Killam is always going to defend it because he has to as a coach, right? Takes a lot for a coach to say, yeah, I made the wrong choice. I think that, if you're looking at a coach's logic, sure, you take the points where you can get them. But it did change the complexion of the game, just like you said earlier, seemed to be a turning point.
Yeah. And I do want to bring up Game Day Baby's comment that we have there. 2 interceptions, but no points off them. That is a problem, right? It's not completing some of the moves. And we've talked about this, especially with Tyrell Ford. At this point, I just feel bad for Tyrell Ford that he goes and he has some interceptions and nothing happens. I think it was last game that I said, if I was Tyrell Ford, I would be like, you know what? I'm not mad at you guys. I'm just extremely disappointed because he's going out there and he's making these plays and nothing is coming out of them. And that's frustrating. Couldn't imagine how frustrating that is. But anyways, going into the fourth quarter, the Elks continued fighting. Early in the quarter, Edmonton drove into field goal range, but came away with only a single point after a missed 34-yard field goal, which was a weird one, especially for Vincent Blanchard. I mean, he doesn't usually miss those, but
odd miss for sure.
Yeah. Montreal then delivered another crushing blow when Philpott hauled in a 56-yard touchdown reception. That was a big one too that we saw. But to Edmonton's credit, Fajardo engineered a scoring drive highlighted by a deep strike to Austin Mack. After a successful challenge overturned an earlier ruling, Edmonton moved into scoring position and Mack finished the drive with a 33-yard touchdown catch. Unfortunately, the 2-point attempt failed, which left the Elks still needing multiple scores to get somewhere. Definitely was proving to be difficult anyways, especially after a pass interference call and an offside penalty that allowed a 1-yard touchdown run by Montreal's Travis Wilson. So just one thing after the other. The game was largely decided at this point.
Garbage time for the first time in a long time for Elks fans.
Backup quarterback Taylor Powell entered. He did provide a little bit of a spark. He had some completions to O'Leary Orange, Asaya Knight, and Carter Kettle, who, of course, had himself a 6-yard touchdown in the final minute.
Hey, we'll hit the horns for Carter Kettle, his first career touchdown, somebody that we've been covering for quite a while over here at the Elks Third and Shotgun Sports Network. The Kettle family is fantastic. Love those guys. They always swing by the tailgate as well. Really, really cool to see Carter Kettle get his first one. Even if it was in garbage time, it doesn't matter. Those reps still matter, especially when you are called upon. And as we know, I mean, I think right now the national spots on wide receiver, I mean, Keon Julian Grant definitely has it locked up. And you do like to see Brendan O'Leary Orange get utilized more. But should anything happen, right? Carter Kettle, keep him fresh. So great to see him get his touchdown. I think that that might have been one of the only bright spots in this game.
At least there was something to come out of that. We're definitely big Carter Kettle supporters. Edmonton, again, failed on the conversion attempt. Another weird one, maybe. Like I say, I think everybody was off after going into the second half. Everybody was off. But Montreal ran out the remaining clock for a 48-30 final score, and that's that. That's that. I mean, what can we say? What would you say for the good?
Less penalties, better in the end zone, and I don't know if I'm going to say less penalties was necessarily better because there were some bad ones. Would you rather have more penalties, but not, pass interference 15-yarders that just completely mess the entire flow of the game? Yeah, but I mean, you're going to have those on both sides. It's very, very rare that you have a clean game, right? So I'm going to give the Edmonton Elks some slack on that. And like I said, I think they were a bit better in the end zone this time around. Also Carter Kettle got a touchdown. But I mean, if you look at the bad, it's the rest of the game. It's all three phases. Yeah, like, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I did see a comment by Pierre about complimentary football, which we did not have. You can say, I think one of the comments that we made is that this was a 3-phase loss. Everybody, or maybe 4th phase, including coaching, it was just an all around, they let Montreal win. Simple as that.
Yeah, 3-phase loss for sure. We can't say that the Edmonton Elks lost this game. No, flat out. Montreal Alouettes won that game, destroyed the Elks fair and square, especially in that second half. Like you said, bad third quarter again. Saw that pop up. But I mean, at the same time, this is probably the best time to have a loss like this. Smack dab in the middle of the CFL season. We are going to talk a little bit more about what we think of the team thus far at the halfway point. We'll talk about that in the fan forum. But let's talk about what's immediately in front of us, which is the Edmonton Elks versus Toronto Argonauts game.
Yeah, before I do that, let me just take a look here.
Oh, transactions and injuries?
Any sort of transactions and injuries. I'm just bringing them up. I don't see... sorry, I wasn't ready.
I don't think there's anything for transactions, but the injury report is very, very telling.
The transactions page is not there. There's something wrong with their transactions page. But we are looking at the Elks injury report for day 1, which is Tuesday. There's nothing for Wednesday on the website. So
it is definitely up. It is definitely up. I can
not on the website just yet. I just haven't seen. I'm not on the Twitters. But from what I can see, David Beard did not participate. Tamari Fox, Kenny Logan Jr., Royce Metier, Joe Robustelli, and Bang Saint-Moi. So, but the nice thing is that they're back from the 6-game injury list. So now you can tell that they're probably getting close.
Well, David Beard was out there last week, I believe, right? Now, yeah, I mean, based on what I'm seeing today, Elijah Alston, D-line, he had a back issue, but he's back to full practice. David Beard still having issues with that neck. We'll see if he does play. Tamari Fox and Kenny Logan Jr. most likely not playing this week. They did not practice. Royce Metier, Carter O'Donnell were limited, hamstring and knee respectively. Shanderick Powell might see some action here. He's good to go, full practice. But yeah, like you said, Joe Rowe and Ben Saint-Moi. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit interesting there. I mean, Joe Robustelli, he seems to have maybe tweaked to that injury, and he still hasn't made it onto the roster yet for this season.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Where are we? Pretty close to halfway through the season?
We are officially halfway through the season. So, yeah, well, like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit more in the fan forum, but yeah, I mean, Edmonton Elks versus Toronto Argonauts. Elks a little bit beat up going into this one. I don't know.
So what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, Pierre does say here in the herd chat, does let us know Logan Jr. out means starting a rookie at Sam. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting to see who they put in that spot. I'm not quite sure yet. Didn't see anything from Dave Campbell on that yet. So, and I mean, I haven't been to practice or anything like that. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think that the Elks could potentially pull off a 38-32. You know, you just got your mouth smacked.
You just got your butt smacked too.
Yeah, I mean, you just took a whooping, right? So the Edmonton Elks come into this game with the chip on their shoulder. They want to get back into the win column. Chad Kelly hasn't looked the greatest in play. I think that Chad Kelly could be exploited a little bit in this game. That would be really interesting. So my keys to the game, first of all, ball hawk Chad Kelly. Make him throw to the tough spots, clog up the passing lanes, and Terrell Ford, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe Cordell Jackson with an int. Would love to see
No.
the Edmonton Elks get some interceptions.
No, I would love to see Tyrell Ford get another interception that actually turns into a touchdown.
Complimentary
Give me
football.
Give me that.
Kathy's. Give me that. Give me that. Kathy's,
I want to see that. I feel bad for Tyrell Ford. Give him a freaking touchdown.
He's working for the team. Teamwork for this man.
God.
Yeah, see, Game Day Baby does say secondary needs to be good. Kelly likes to throw. So, I mean, like I said, that's key number 1 to the game. Key number 2, protect the quarterback. Offensive line needs to hold against Toronto's front 4. Try to discourage them, try to tire them out, right? Offensive line needs to hold in this game. Do not want Toronto's front 4 or front 5 getting to, it would be front 4, but front 5 getting to Cody Fajardo. And then, of course, key number 3 for me, hold on to the ball. Don't drop it. Hold on to that freaking ball. Don't fumble it. Hold on to it. Elks had multiple drops in that last game. Do not want to see that again, especially, obviously, every throw is not going to be perfect from Cody Fajardo. But when we're seeing the likes of Austin Mack fumbling, that
was after a catch. That was the thing. That was after a catch. Fumble after a catch. I feel like it's just not acceptable.
Well, no, he was getting swung around in that circumstance. And you do also have players trying to punch the ball out, right? So ball security, but most importantly, catch the ball. Don't drop it. Steady hands this week. For the Edmonton Elks, there were multiple opportunities that were lost off the hands last week. So, and then, of course, our player to watch. Who's your favorite player, Catherine?
I'm going to be watching Tyrell Ford. I want another interception that actually turns into something.
That's your player to watch. I thought you were going to go for Nick Anderson. I know I'm going to go for Nick Anderson, but Tyrell Ford is a good player to watch.
Nick Anderson is always fun to watch, but I feel like after he came back with his injury, I think he's also a little bit, what's the word? Conservative in the way that he's playing. So which is, I mean, it's understandable. You were just gone for half of the season. You don't want your entire season to be gone. So I think it might take a little bit for Nick Anderson to come back to the way that we saw him last year. But I hope he has a really good game for sure.
I hope he has fun. No, it's interesting because Nick Anderson did talk about his injuries over at Edmonton Sports Talk. I want to say probably yesterday. I did get to catch him, and I want to say that was on. It's probably the Reed Wilkins show. I can't remember off the top, but either way, it was on Edmonton Sports Talk. He did talk about his injuries, and great guy, very humble. It was interesting to hear him talk about how excited he is that the linebacking core and the linebacking room, can kind of step up in that way while he's injured. But he's also a guy that grabs a clipboard. He's also a guy that immediately tries to help out with the team, even though he's injured, right? So, I mean, he takes it in stride, and nobody ever wants to be injured. Back-to-back years with an injury for Nick Anderson. So it's going to be really, really important for him to keep up that elevated level of play, especially with Daryl Jabomi playing lights out at that position. Maybe not lights out, but playing pretty darn good while Nick Anderson was gone. So, I mean, great linebacking room. Obviously missing Brock Mogensen as well. Still would love to see him out there. We'll see if he even returns this season. So that'll be interesting. Now, we do have the What's Your Fantasy mini segment here. I'm going to go through some fantasy picks that I like and that I've actually selected this week. All right. So on your weekly fantasy, on my weekly fantasy, players that I like for the price. And I did go a little bit Elks heavy. I have this problem where I go Elks heavy on fantasy because I just really think that the Elks can win every week. I did take the Edmonton Elks defense. I did take Cody Fajardo with the ×2 captain multiplier. Still not ready to bet on Justin Rankin quite yet. I would like to see the O-line completely healthy. As we know, David Beard's kind of fighting something. Calder Woodmansey's still not available yet. So I'm not banking on that offensive line yet, but I do like Javon Leake for getting some yards in this upcoming game this weekend. But at running back, Xander Horvath would be a much better choice, who I have at RB2. For wide receivers, I have Dijon Brissett and Keelan White from Ottawa, and then in the flex, Austin Mack. So selected 4 Elks this week on Weekly Fantasy. I probably shouldn't do that. I get kind of ridiculed for doing that from time to time, but here we are. We're doing it. Alrighty. And then, of course, we do have the season-long fantasy. If you picked up Xander Horvath, you're laughing. I mean, the guy is a stud right now for the BC Lions. It's really interesting to see what he's doing over there. He's doing some great stuff. So you do like to see it. Great guy for fantasy as well. Vernon Adams Jr., I think that he's a lock at quarterback if you have him. If you can somehow trade for him and you're going for a little playoff push, because we're kind of almost getting to that point here in the fantasy season. Still like Vernon Adams Jr. Justin McInnis, BC Lions, great national guy if you do need to slot him in there, but you can also option him at wide receiver as well. I also like Eberhardt. I know I talk about him a lot on this show, but still a great choice. Unger the third of.
Oh, hold on. It looks like we might have lost him. Let me just send him a message. I can hear him talk in the other room. Hold on. There you go. You're back. Yeah, we lost you for a second. I was just talking to myself here in the feed for a little bit.
Interesting.
I kept hearing you talk, and I'm like, oh no.
Did we make it to Trevor Harris, Brady Oliveira?
Not too sure exactly at what point you kicked off, but because I could still hear you talk, but we did not hear some of the last little bits that you talked about. I am going to say that it was probably around the Trevor Harris.
Okay, well, Trevor Harris should be a lock versus Hamilton, and then Brady Oliveira at running back versus the Ottawa Redblacks. I think that those are my final 2 great picks this week. Of course, I'm also going off of one of my 3 fantasy teams that I have in season long, and just letting you know who I'm seeing at the top performers, talking about guys that are over 100 points on the season already. So, and I mean, obviously, Dedrick Mills, there's a couple of good picks out there, but I really like Brady Oliveira running back versus the Ottawa Redblacks. How about bigger question before we move on to the Edmonton Sports Update? Is Ottawa going to get a win this season?
I hope so.
This is messed up.
Who was it? No, I have to know this. Alex. We just talked to Alex, and one of the things that he mentioned in his interview is that it's not good for the league when teams don't win. It's just overall for the CFL, it's not good to see that. So for the sake of the sport, for the sake of the league, for the sake of Ottawa themselves, I really do hope that they get a win here.
It's sad. I mean, I feel really bad for Ottawa fans. Know a lot of them out there on the Twitterscape and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the road team eating those lemons every single day. He's become a defeated man. Shout out to the road team, by the way. I'd love to have him on we should get road team on the show. I think we're gonna have to get road team on the show, maybe even as early as next week. Well, we'll make it work, but I feel so bad for this guy eating lemons every single day that all 9 teams of the CFL have not won a game. The only team he's waiting on
is just
the Ottawa Redblacks. I mean, what is he at? Day number? I forget exactly which day he's at, but it's over 60. I know that. Oh, poor road team. Anyways, okay, let's move on to the Edmonton Sports Update. Today's Edmonton Sports Update is brought to you by Herdy's. It's about to be a fiesta in the tailgate. The Elks Herd is proud to present the 2026 Taste of Tailgate Series. Kicking off with the taco contest at Stall 138 this Saturday. Swing on by Stall 182 for your own tacos 2 hours before the game. The Edmonton Elks are currently 6-3 after a 48-30 loss to the Montreal Alouettes. The Elks will host the Toronto Argonauts this weekend at Commonwealth Stadium. Kickoff is at 1 p.m. Mountain, with the tailgate starting at 11 a.m. The Edmonton Stingers season is officially over, with a defeat versus the Vancouver Bandits last week. From Langley, the CBL final was underway tonight, but condensation on the court has resulted in the game being canceled for tonight, with the Winnipeg Sea Bears now facing the Brampton Honey Badgers for a best-of-1 series. Game 1 action will be coming to you this weekend from Winnipeg Canada Life Center. Check out the action on cbl.ca and on YouTube. The Edmonton Riverhawks missed the playoffs by 1 game, a loss exactly 1 week ago to the Bellingham Bulls to end their playoff dreams. Golden Bears football is right around the corner. The Golden Bears hosting the Regina Rams on September 4th. Get your tickets online at Ticketmaster.com. Commonwealth Stadium and the Edmonton Elks have teased a stadium concert featuring a Luke Combs logo. Expect the concert to be announced in the coming days. For more Edmonton sports updates, you can head on over to shotgunsportsnetwork.ca. We are the Elks Herd. You're up to date. Shout out to the viewers. Shout out to the listeners. This is the Elks Call. You're rocking with the Elks Herd. Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, favorite buttons, all of that good stuff. That is how you show some love. All right. Up next, we're going to bring you Green or Gold, our take on hot or not. Green or Gold is brought to you by Lather. Smell damn good with Canadian-made soaps and more. All the hygiene products, all of that good stuff from Canada. The Elks Call is happy to have Lather back on the roster, and we know you'll be happy once you try Lather too. Our viewers and listeners can save 20% off by using code SHOTGUN20, all caps, no spaces. Smell damn good with Lather. Save damn money with the Elks Call. All right, Green or Gold, we are going to bring up a topic or an item, and if you like it, you're going to vote gold. But if you don't like it, you're going to vote green. Herd Chat, you know what to do. Play along with us. Throw your vote into the Herd Chat. Let us know what you think of this topic. We only have one topic. We only have one topic today, and that is plus 30 very warm weather games at Commonwealth Stadium. You know what? Yeah. Actually, we do have two topics. So that's topic number one. Edmonton Elks games plus 30, very, very hot. Is it a green or is it a gold for you, Catherine?
I guess a green. Just because of where we're sitting. You bring me into this hot box with no shade whatsoever, and you refuse to move ever from Section X.
You're from Mexico. You can't say this.
But it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when you're sitting there for 3 hours in the heat. It does get a little too much when there's no shade. I think if I was to be sitting on the opposite end where they have a little bit of shade or under the overhang, then it would be totally fine. But when we experience plus 30 games in there for hours on end, it does get a little too intense. It does get a little too sweaty.
Sue does agree with you. Sue does say green. But where are my gold boys at? Oh, they're in the chat. Let's go. Gold. Love me a plus 30 game. I will sit there. I will sweat. It means that you get to drink more libations. Game Day Baby says gold. Pierre says, oh, sorry, gold. That is a gold. And
You know
Pierre
what?
says gold.
I'll agree with what Pierre says that it does beat minus 30. Agreed. 100%. I will take the heat anytime over the cold.
Wait until you get a nice frosty playoff game at Commonwealth Stadium.
Well, it wasn't playoff, but I've had frosty games at Commonwealth Stadium.
Yeah, for sure. I know you've been there for some minus fivers and maybe even down. I don't think you've hit minus 10 in late October.
I don't
But
think so.
maybe a 0 to minus 5. I think you've been. Well, you've also been there for the Heritage Classic. You've also been there for a couple other events, the Shredmonton event. So you've been there in the cold. So I will not harp you for not saying.
Yeah. You know what? If you gave me the choice of minus 30 and plus 30, I would 100% every day of the week choose plus 30.
Fair.
Most definitely. You know? But when it comes to the choice of having like a nice little cool game and a plus 30 game, well, I'm going to choose the cool game with maybe a little bit of rain and drizzle, but that's about it because that cools things off. That's why some of the later games have been nice too, like the 7 p.m. on a Friday or a Saturday. Those have been nice because things start to cool off by then. Even if we're just sweating at the tailgate, by the time that we make it to the stadium is not bad. But we will see this 1 p.m. game day. I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather, so I don't know what to expect.
I think I looked at it. It should be sunny for the day. Feels like plus 27 in the evening. So also Pierre did say minus 24 at kickoff of the West Semi versus Sask. Was it that cold? Because if it was, I was definitely wearing jeans and a hoodie for that one. And no wonder it felt so cold at Commonwealth Stadium for that one. But speaking of Commonwealth, we do have a second topic here on green or gold. Second topic, sitting at a concert. Is it a green or is it a gold?
That's a green, a big green. Hate it. Hate it.
I mean, AC/DC, I will say, and I mean, you know, I get it. A little bit of a mixed bag for a crowd. We'll say that. I mean, we had kids. We had.
I thought it was really cool to see such a multi-generational crowd.
Multi-generational, right? But there was a lot of sitting, and I'm somebody that stands. I'm going to say sitting at a concert. I will also agree to green. I mean, I feel like I'm going to stand as long as I possibly can. As you know, messed up my ankle pretty good, standing away at that one. But Herd Chat, what do you think? Sitting at a concert specifically, is it a green or is it a gold? Do you support the sit? I mean, I understand. I think been to multiple concerts where, hey, even whoever I was with had an injury, could not stand, maybe didn't have the stamina to, right?
And here's the thing. If I could afford floor tickets every time, I would. Right? Because I am mindful of people around me, and people specifically buy seats to be able to sit. That's the reality. And especially, you know, with the older crowds, depending on what show you go. But nowadays, entertainment has become so unaffordable that if I wanted to go see AC/DC and buy floor tickets, it would be a mortgage payment. And I'm okay with that, right? So that's the unfortunate part. I still want to enjoy my time, and I'm still going to stand because I'm feeling the concert and all of that. But the reality is that, yes, I am mindful of people around me. I had to stand in a very uncomfortable position all night just to make sure that I wasn't blocking the person that was sitting beside me. But at the same time, I just feel like that's one of those things that if tickets were more affordable for standing and floors seats, people would take them, but they're not. Totally. So got to do what you got.
Totally. I like what Pierre says here, greenish, but it gets much golder the older you get. And I mean, I totally understand that, right? That's where I was like, I get it with stamina. I get it with certain scenarios, and especially with aging, right? I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be going to concerts when I'm 70, 80, if I make it to that point. But if I do, I'm probably not going to want to stand. I'm still going to want to see my favorite artist, and I'll probably.
I have my back was hurting, and I wanted to sit, but I wasn't gonna. But I wanted to sit.
Game Day Baby also does say green, and you know what? I do wonder too. I wonder if you can have a sitting only section. You know what I mean? Like for certain shows where you know that maybe it's a metal show or whatever, maybe you do have people that can't necessarily stand that entire time. You know that people are going to be rocking it out and standing. What if you have a sitting section? Or what if you have certain rows that are specifically for sitting? I mean, I don't oppose that either. And I think even as I age, maybe that'll be something that I activate.
Okay. But something like that, I mean, now you're just, segregating groups for weird reasons that I think would be very, very difficult to follow. It would be like saying at football games that you get to find a section that people don't make noise instead of sitting beside Mr. Section X over here that blows his horn every single time quite loud.
Family huddles over there.
So it's like, are you really going to be like, oh, this section is only for loud people and this section is only for quiet people? Same thing in concerts. This section is only for sitting seats. And
no, but you already do have like a family section for Edmonton Elks games. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking in that sense, right? For Pierre, it also says first row balcony. Now your choice. You set the tone, baby. You set the tone. I like that. Oh, I love it. All right. That is green or gold. Thank you, everybody, for participating. That was a Funyun. But let's dig into the final segment of the night. We are going to open up the fan forum. This fan forum is brought to you by the Argos Fancast. Join Clay and Sir Doug as they give you the latest from Argos land right here on Shotgun Sports Network. Spoiler alert, I might be on the next episode. Might be filming tomorrow. Gonna do a little game preview with Clay over at the Argos Fancast. So we'll be sure to share it from our socials once it's up. All right. First question in this fan forum. The Edmonton Elks are currently 6-3 at the halfway mark of the season. Although they've lost the last two games, the Elks have looked competitive despite that last result. How would you grade this team in each phase at this point of the season? So looking back at these first 9 games, what do we think? Let's just start with the offense. If you had to grade the offense, we're not going to go a 1 to 10, but an A, a B, a C. Where are we putting this offense?
I don't know. It's hard. The reason why it's hard to answer this question, in my opinion, is that the team that we saw play last game was very different than the team that we saw play in the first few games. It just felt like something was off. So I don't know if when you're saying grading this team in each phase at this point of the season, well, they seem to have gotten worse at this point of the season. Why is that the case? What changed? What is it that happened that, they seem to have their stuff together, even if it wasn't necessarily the most cleanest of wins that they had at times. There were some questionable wins that perhaps it was more luck than anything. It still feels like they are going in the wrong direction. So even with the offense at this point in the season, I don't know, like a C plus.
Yeah, but okay. So
B minus.
B minus, you're saying C plus, B minus. I'm going to say like a flat B. And the reason why I say that is they still posted 30 last game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, the offense can, obviously one of those touchdowns was in garbage time, but it's not like the offense is necessarily bad. I mean, I think that this is still the best offense that we've seen in the last 5 years. I think we can agree.
Sure. Yeah, I still think, I think that's why I went with the C plus, B minus, mostly for the cleanliness of it. I love to drop balls. Maybe the O-line is still, letting some of the defenses in and get to the quarterback a little too much. Maybe some of the maybe this is more on the OC, the offensive coordinator, but I'm going to group them together in that offensive kind of group. that in itself has been bad. So I still think that there's a lot of improvement in some of those, and they're costly things. Those are things that have cost us a lot of points in each game.
A lot of missed points, right? You know what? I will agree. I'll say maybe a B- or once again a C+ as well. I think I agree with that. Ken does say here, I just brought it up. Offense C-. Offensive coordinator needs to be better. Helga also does say go Elks. Time to start a new winning streak. Sure hope so. Would like to see an A performance out of the offense in order to make that happen in this game coming up. But okay, so let's go through the defense.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think the defense is at?
I'm gonna say the same thing, B-. Mostly because some of the really costly penalties that we have seen from the defense, a lot of pass interference, a lot of dumb penalties that we have seen. I think those, letting too many yards go to the opposing team. And sure, defense started fantastic at the beginning of the season, and somehow they're just not. I don't know what's happening, that now they're getting worse. So, sure, I mean, I think this game was the first game in the season that they truly let a big deficit of points. But yeah, I think that there's a lot to improve there for sure.
It's so interesting because we were saying so many, such a different narrative. We were saying so many good things about this team, not only the offense, but also the defense. At some point, this defense was considered the best in the league. I want to say week 4, week 5. This was the best defense in the league. Mm-hmm. And somehow that has slipped, right? These last 2 games, the defense, especially the D-backs, got exploited. They are a little bit dinged up now. Yeah. I do think that potential to be, once again, an A or a B+, right? B- is what I would definitely sit on for the defense, just because, yes, for most of this season so far, they have looked really good. Yeah. Yes, the secondary has some issues, but we're mostly seeing sacks in this last game. Didn't see any sacks from the defensive line. Once again, you're talking about an elite offensive line over in Montreal. So depending on the matchup, I mean, yeah, they can look as bad as, a D. But they can also look as good as an A+ in some games as well. So I'm gonna go B-. Ken also says B. Sorry.
So, no, just injuries. That's another thing to consider as well for a lot of this.
Yeah, I mean, Pierre does say love this D. Young and aggressive. Is a little bit injury prone at times. They do seem to have some guys going in and out. Obviously, we know at Sam linebacker, that's going to be interesting to see how that matchup goes. But Daryl Jabomi, like we had mentioned earlier, draft pick. Guy is doing fantastic work filling in. So we'll see if he does move around. But, yeah, I mean, filled in great in the middle. Now, special teams. Special teams. Which...
Yeah, that's a. I mean, obviously, kicking has been great. Punter has been.
It's been all right. I think.
All right.
I mean, in that last game, obviously, we did see that was the block punt, right?
Yeah. No, that was the game before.
Oh, the game before. So we did see a block punt, and then on this last one, we saw a missed field goal. Vincent Blanchard doesn't really miss them too often, but I'm also not seeing massive explosive plays from Javon Leake on the return.
Yeah, the return has been lacking.
Yeah, I mean, outside of, say, the boots, which Jake Julian at times looks like he's an elite punter still, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that he is. His numbers, he could technically compete with his old record of 54 yards. But unfortunately, which is the average, right? His annual average. But at this point, it's he's obviously getting. Sometimes he's not getting the most help from the team, but other times he's not getting help from his own boot, in the sense that he's booting the ball a little bit too far. Still does get coffin corners. We do see those performances still. But it's just, the consistency. There is a comment here from Pierre. Julian is struggling this year, can't place the ball consistently. And I will agree. I mean, it seems like you're not getting the same 2 punts. every time. I don't know if that's his technique. I don't know if it's just an off year. I don't know if it's the holds. I don't know what it is. So, I mean, Vincent Blanchard has been an absolute bright spot for this team, I think.
Yeah.
And I think sorry.
He has a couple of misses here and there, but it's not consistent misses. He's consistently good with the off games and off plays.
I would grade him specifically at an A, but talking about the rest of it all,
I think I'm going to agree with Game Day Baby and say a B. I really do think the Javon Leak and the return could be much better. I feel like he's probably one of the most predictable returners that I have.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a C, and I also think that's because of the coverage on the return too.
Yeah.
Javon Leak isn't exactly getting the holes. It takes time to go north-south on the field, right? And you're supposed to be going east.
He makes the same run over and over and over. And like I've made this joke, I'm like, I bet he's gonna go. I bet he's gonna go left. I bet he's gonna go left.
And Pierre also agrees. Disappointing given Killen's background. You sure hope that the special teams would be a lot better. In my opinion, I do think that this is a C right now. I think the Vincent Blanchard is the shining spot in it. I think Jake Julian's doing great. But I do, and I mean, now let's say on coverage on the return, we do see some big returns now and then, but the coverage for the most part is decent. So I don't know. Have we seen a return touchdown on us this year? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think there's been some close calls, but
last game there were a couple of close ones for sure, but not yet though. Knock on wood that it won't happen. But
knock on wood.
Like overall, I mean, even if we think about averages, we're looking at an average of like a B. This team is a B right now overall. So, or maybe B minus with the C.
B minus probably. Yeah.
So
that's what I would say.
The overall the team is a B minus, but that just tells you that there is improvement, and which we knew right from the get go, right? Even at the beginning of the season, they were looking good, but like we talked about it, a lot of those games, a lot of those wins were a little bit due to luck, were a little bit due to circumstance. It wasn't a complete shutout or a most definite win that we knew that we had that win and they weren't going to be able to do anything about it, right? It was close calls, a little too close for the majority of those wins. So even in that in itself, it's like, that you have some improvement to do.
Well, and also Justin Rankin was popping off earlier in the season, and he was a big reason for some of those wins, right? Obviously scoring touchdowns like a madman. But we haven't seen that happen in a long time now. And that's, the offensive line, obviously, that's part of the issue. But also coming up with new schemes and getting creative with Justin Rankin. Saw some more swing passes, right? Saw some more swings.
I'm still hoping to see a trick play at some point.
Maybe at some point this season.
I think the last trick play that I've seen was that Cornelius to
AC Leonard?
Yes. Was that the last trick play that I have seen?
I think so. I want to say.
It's been too long.
Because we didn't see anything with Mr. Trey Ford. But, talking about contending, though, let's talk about the future of this team, because the Edmonton Elks have been considered a contender up until last week. However, the loss to the Alouettes in Montreal has fans thinking a little bit differently now, right, as we're talking about. So, final question of the night. Do you think the Edmonton Elks are a Grey Cup contender still, or do you think that they've truly slipped out of that conversation?
No, I don't think they've slipped out yet, but they're heading in that direction if they don't make some changes. I think that they definitely have the capability to be a playoff team. I mean, looking at Ottawa, I'm pretty sure everybody else is going to make it to the playoffs.
Poor road team.
Especially with the new bracket system or whatever it is that we have.
For next year, yeah.
Oh, that's next year, so that's not
next
this year.
year,
Okay, I didn't. With all these changes, I'm just assuming that all these changes are happening this year, and I'm just getting used to it. But anyways, but you know what I mean. That poor Ottawa is on terms to not make it to the playoffs, and by that, it means that everybody else should. But I still think that we're a playoff-bound team. But if they don't clean things up, there's the chance that they may not make it to the Grey Cup for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that, yes, Pierre is right here in the herd chat. Team has very much improved. Hervey has built some depth, which we haven't seen for many, many years. But this team does remind me of the 2014 Edmonton Eskimos, right? The same ones we were just talking about with the the very cold semifinal again, or sorry, semifinal. Yeah, it was the Western semifinal against Saskatchewan. Yeah, I mean, I think that this team can contend. I think that, they are a top 4 in the CFL. And if you are a top 4, you are in Grey Cup contention, kind of by default. You're, probably one of the best 4 teams to make it into the big dance, right? But I do think that they are trending in the wrong direction. This game against the Toronto Argonauts is going to be huge. The Toronto Argonauts are also biting at the heels of the Edmonton Elks in the power rankings. And as we know, the power rankings are more of an opinion piece, but hey, it's nice to talk about them every once in a while. The whole purpose of this, we talked about it in the beginning of the season when we were, laughing at some of the ridiculous opinions out there on the power rankings and everybody disrespecting the double E. But in this case, the CFL has the double E at number 3 in the power rankings and Toronto Argonauts at number 4. Some people have Toronto Argonauts at number 3 and the double E at number 4. So this is the purpose of the power rankings. Who's winning more games in a row? Who's looking the most powerful at this moment in the season? Based on that, I would probably be more inclined to have the double E at number 4, to be honest with you. Because the Toronto Argonauts are rolling a bit. They did beat the Calgary Stampeders in a pretty big game. And it's all about which contenders are you beating. For the power rankings, that helps you move up in the power rankings. You beat a big name, you move up, right? So it is one of those things where it's a tool to help you understand where teams are trending. And the Edmonton Elks now need a win against the Toronto Argonauts. This is now their next biggest opponent, is the Toronto Argonauts. And then after that, they do have a Western opponent in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Charlie Defoe here in the herd chat does say, hi, go Bombers this weekend. Can't say the words, but good luck to your team, Charlie. We hope that your team wins, I guess, for you. And hey, maybe it makes it a bigger showdown when it comes time to that Winnipeg game. Pierre also says Calgary gave Toronto that game. T.O. was very fortunate that day. But hey, once again, you got to be a good team to get lucky. You got to be a good enough team to have the bounces go your way as well. And you have to be close enough to take those wins. I did watch that game. It did go down to the wire, and Calgary did kind of give that game up. So Calgary would probably say they lost that game as opposed to Toronto winning that one, as we say. But yeah, I mean, as far as the contention conversation, I do think that the Double E still hold that title. I do think that the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Montreal Alouettes are the true contenders right now, number 1 and number 2 in the league. But there's still 9 games to go. And it's going to be a long 9 games. It might go pretty quick because it's going to be fun, but we get into fall. We march towards the Grey Cup. We march towards November, and it only gets colder from here, as we know. So
yeah, I like going back to Helga's comment. Time to start a new winning streak. Where it's yours. Or like Killam likes to say, every game is 1-0. Every new game is 1-0. It's let's start a new winning streak. Let's make it happen again.
Let's make it happen. The Edmonton Elks could go on a nasty streak here. As we know, the 2015 Eskimos, finally led by Mike Riley once he did return. Everybody drink. When Michael Riley did return, they went on a really, really, really nasty streak to go ahead and win the cup at the very end. So, the Edmonton Elks still have that opportunity in them. The next 4-game stretch, we can talk about it real quick before we log out for the night. But next 4 games, we have Toronto, we have Winnipeg, and then it's Calgary. And as we know, Operation Occupy McMahon, if you are driving to the game, that's going to be over with Section O. Matt, he is selling tickets, $41 each. Get them the cheapest. Go sit with a bunch of Double E fans. But then you have the Labor Day rematch after that. And as we know, that's going to be the biggest game of the year. And you're going to have the biggest attendance of the year. Upper Bowl probably opens up for that game. And the Edmonton Elks have an opportunity to, say, go 3 out of 4 on the next 4-game stretch. Last week when we were talking about it, I said the next 4 games, they could go 2 for 4, right? 2 for 4 is most likely the scenario because Calgary really, really wants that game in Calgary. And with the way that they're playing, they're going to give the Double E a real big run for their money. Luckily for the Edmonton Elks, they do get these next 2 games at home to rebuild some confidence, retool, do some installs, get creative with that freaking playbook. And they have an opportunity to give Calgary some different looks by the time they get to that point as well. Film and prep is huge, right? And then I think Mark Killam did, acknowledge that maybe the prep could have even been a little bit better last week. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that they're defeated. I don't think that the team is really beating themselves up that badly. But when you do take a smack in the mouth like that, it forces you to make a change. And that's where, once again, we say that this loss most likely came at a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it'll be really, really interesting. What do you think for the Edmonton Elks on this next stretch? Like Toronto and Winnipeg, do you think that those are winnable games for the Elks?
They are, yeah, totally. As long as they can get up.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Yeah, really, really hoping so. I do think that the Edmonton Elks still are a contender, and it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens with this Toronto Argonauts game. Once again, we will be hosting the Taste of Tailgate Series Round 1 this weekend in Lot B at Commonwealth Stadium. It's going to be a fun one. The perfect way to start your game day is a little bit of tailgate and a little bit of taco. Might be some breakfast tacos, but I know over at Stall 182, we will be serving a taco that is close to authentic. So if you want the good stuff with the onions and the cilantro and all of that, yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty good. And then, of course, over here in the herd chat, Pierre does say if we go 5-4 over the last 9, we finished 11-7. That's huge. And that would be a lot better than the 7-11 that we've seen for the last couple of years. All this last 9 all starts this weekend. Once again, Saturday, 1 p.m. start at Commonwealth Stadium with the tailgate starting at 11. Let's go ahead and close it. It's closed. The fan forum is closed for tonight. A big shout out you, the viewer, the listener, for rocking with the Elks herd tonight. We're really, really thankful to have you riding with us. Before we go, if you could hit the like, subscribe, and favorite buttons, all of that good stuff, would greatly appreciate it, because that is how you show some love here, especially if you like the episode. Might as well like it. How about Matt Machado of Mr. Section X? I was going to say of Section X. He is Mr. Section X. Or wow, Section O.
Oh, no.
I'm of Section X.
You are
Section
It's okay.
Section O. Try that again. For Matt Machado of Section O, the Ozone O2. Really, really great conversation. If you did miss out on it, head on back to the beginning of the episode to get that interview. The guy can also run one hell of a promo too. So good. All right. We are going to log out for the night. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X.
And I'm Catherine.
We are the Elks herd. This was the Elks call, and we can't wait to see everybody at Commonwealth Stadium this weekend and on the Elks call next week. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.
Go Elks.